6 months later, and the aftershocks are still being felt. Survivors of the Sichuan earthquake battling for the funds to rebuild their lives. Thousands of those left homeless converge on local government offices. The compensation they've been promised hasn't arrived.
We're supposed to get $60 per square meter compensation for our destroyed house, but they're only offering us $15. Where has the rest of the money gone?
And scuffles in the crowd, tensions running high. Many of these people lost their homes and their loved ones in the earthquake that killed more than 80,000 people. Now they feel deserted by the government that promised to help them through their darkest hour. We can't afford the rent, these women told me. The compensation they'd be promised not even enough to cover their current accommodation, let alone to rebuild their homes. The authorities weren't listening with a sympathetic ear. Police bundled us away as we tried to talk to the protesters, many of whom claim funds are being stolen by corrupt officials. And as we tried to leave, we found our path blocked.
There's a lot of people here complaining about the fact they're getting little or no compensation for the homes they lost during the earthquake. Tempers have flared. You can see riot police all around us. And the police, plainclothes policemen here, are actually stopping our car from leaving.
But these people were not prepared to be ignored. Pushing back the police from the path of our car, the protesters cleared a route, and we made our escape. Just up the road, the camp at Mianzhu. These rows of huts will be home to more than 100,000 refugees for the next 3 years. Well ordered and controlled, they represent an incredible achievement for the Chinese government, who have rehoused many of the estimated 5 million people left homeless by the quake. But those inside complain that they've received nothing in the last 3 months. 80% of the camp's inhabitants are now unemployed, with little chance of finding work. For the Zhangs, their comfortable city apartment has been replaced by this, one small room they share with their granddaughter. And while they're grateful for what little they have, they can't help feeling that not all the aid is getting through.
The money and aid for the refugees should be monitored carefully to make sure it all gets to the refugees in good time.
Elsewhere, trucks rumble down country lanes laden with rubble. The reconstruction process is well underway, but many aren't able to wait for the government's compensation and are taking matters into their own hands. 71-year-old Fan Gongcheng is happy with his lot. Some new clothes and $300. He says that's all he needs. Nonetheless, as the winter draws in, he knows the next few months will be hard.
The winter will be a bit chilly, but as long as I got a thick blanket and heavy coat, I can survive.
And sitting in the ruins of the house he grew up in, he knows it will be a long time before he can again call this home. Tony Cheng, Al Jazeera, Sichuan Province, Central China.